If you are afraid of brutal murders, I do not advise you to continue watching the video. Imagine returning home at night. Your house is close to the railroad tracks. You hear the distant whistle of a passing train and think everything is fine. But little do you know, a man is lurking in the shadows, moving across states without papers or identity, breaking into homes at night, killing in cold blood, and vanishing as if he were a ghost.
Wait a minute, let me finish the story for my grandfather. This man is Angel Maturino Resendiz, known as the Railroad Killer. A serial killer who spread terror across the United States and Mexico in the 1980s and 1990s, he committed more than 15 confirmed murders, and possibly many more. In this documentary, we will tell his full story, from his troubled childhood to his life as a wandering drifter, through his gruesome crimes, the pursuit by the FBI, and finally, his surrender and dramatic end. Prepare for a journey into the world of darkness. Angel Maturino Resendiz was born in 1959 in a small town in Mexico. At school, Angel was different. Quiet, quick-tempered. Some of his teachers later recalled that he tended to isolate himself and sometimes displayed unprovoked cruelty. These traits, often found in serial killers, appeared early in his life. As he entered adolescence, he began showing minor criminal behaviors: petty theft, street fights, even attempts to run away from home. By the time he was 17, he no longer wanted to stay in his small hometown. So he decided to cross the border into the United States illegally. And that's where his real story would begin. In 1986, as Angel crossed the border into Texas, the first crimes linked to him were recorded. A woman living near the railroad tracks was found brutally murdered inside her home. There was no clear evidence pointing to the killer, except that the crime scene was very close to the railway line. At first, the police did not connect this murder to anything unusual. But just weeks later, another crime emerged, carried out in the same way. A house near the tracks, and a victim killed with extreme violence. Questions began to surface. Was someone using the trains to move around and prey on innocent people? Yet, without enough evidence, the crimes remained nothing more than open cases. Over the years, the crimes multiplied. Women and men were found murdered in their homes, some beaten to death, others stabbed or strangled. The only common factor: all the victims lived next to railroad tracks. Between 1986 and 1999, at least 15 confirmed murders were attributed to Angel, and the true number may have been much higher. From Texas to Kentucky, from Illinois to Florida, and even inside Mexico, he never stopped. The media began calling him the Railroad Killer, the Railroad Butcher. People grew afraid of the sound of trains at night. They started bolting their doors, putting metal bars on their windows, yet the terror did not disappear. The police began to realize there was a serial killer traveling the country by train. But how do you hunt a man with no identity, no fixed address, who moves like the wind? By the mid-1990s, the FBI began compiling files. Fingerprints found at some crime scenes, DNA samples, a handful of testimonies from survivors or neighbors. Slowly, a picture of the killer began to emerge. A man in his 40s, of Mexican origin, a drifter traveling by train. In 1999, he was officially placed on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list. His face appeared on news broadcasts and in newspapers across the country. Yet, even then, he managed to escape justice. He knew how to hide. how to ride the trains without anyone noticing. For long months, people lived in fear. Police received daily reports, but they always arrived too late. Angel was always one step ahead. In June 1999, after mounting pressure on his family in Mexico, Angel was persuaded to surrender. His sister and a local priest played a major role in convincing him. In a bizarre scene, he walked up to the US-Mexico border checkpoint, raising his hands. He simply said, "I am the man you are looking for. I am the railroad killer." At first, the police couldn't believe it, but fingerprint and DNA tests confirmed he was indeed the man who had baffled them for years. The trial began in Texas in 2000. The evidence was overwhelming. Fingerprints, DNA, and testimonies all tied him to the murders. In court, Angel sat quietly, showing no signs of remorse. At times, he even spoke about his victims in a cold, detached manner. He was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to death by lethal injection. In 2006, the death sentence was carried out against Angel Maturino in Texas. Before his execution, he showed no emotion and asked for no mercy. The families of his victims witnessed the moment of his death. Some felt a sense of relief at last, while others said their pain would never truly end. Angel Maturino will remain one of the most mysterious serial killers in history. A man with no identity, no home, who used trains as both his escape and his weapon. His story reminds us that danger can come from the most unexpected places. From a stranger passing by at a train station, only to vanish into the darkness. What do you think? If he hadn't surrendered, would the police ever have been able to capture him? Or would he have remained a ghost, moving endlessly from train to train? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more terrifying true stories.